Rain Gang, Ravens flock, what is going on? It's your boy Sutton Def here from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, coming at you with yet another video, just talking about the Ravens. You guys already know what it is. Now, this video I am recording the Tuesday after the Monday night win against the Colts, that epic comeback that was led by Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense. And speaking of Lamar Jackson, that's what today's video is all about, guys. Lamar for MVP. I'm starting the campaign right here, right now on this video on the Purple Rain Podcast channel. Make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you agree with me that Lamar Jackson is at least the current front runner for the MVP. Now, there's a lot of guys in contention for this right now. You've got your Kyler Murrays of the world, you got your Justin Herberts, your Josh Allens, your Tom Brady's, all these guys. But for me, Matthew Stafford, but for me, my money is going with Lamar Jackson. I'm going with Lamar Jackson, and I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons why I'm going with Lamar Jackson. So reason number one, Lamar Jackson, quite simply put, is doing so much more with less. He's doing more with less. What does that mean? The Ravens currently have 17 players on injured reserve. The next closest team would be the Tennessee Titans with 13 players on injured reserve. And the next closest team with an actual MVP contender or candidate right now, which would be the actual Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray and those boys, they have 4 players on injured reserve. So it just goes to show the Ravens have obviously lost. They've been decimated by injuries, absolutely decimated by injuries. And one, they're leading the division at right now at the moment. They're also one of the top teams in the AFC and one of the top teams in the NFL. One of the top teams in the NFL, and that is because of Lamar Jackson. Not only Ravens fans know that, the mainstream media knows it, everybody knows the Ravens are 4-1 right now because of Lamar Jackson, and he's doing more with less. He lost all of his running backs. We're a running team, he lost all his running backs. Lost one of the best cornerbacks on his team as well. And of course, Lamar Jackson doesn't play defense, but Marcus Peters set up great opportunities for Lamar Jackson by turning the ball over constantly. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that are missing on offense and defense that make things a lot harder for not only the Ravens, but Lamar Jackson to operate, because he's just not quite simply getting the same opportunities that he was when his team was healthier. So he's doing more with less. And let's just talk about some of the help that he has as well, as is. Lamar Jackson, he's got receivers like Hollywood Brown. He's got Sammy Watkins, Devin Duvernay. These are good receivers, solid receivers. Now, me as a Ravens fan, I like these guys, but they don't compare to what Justin Herbert has and a Keenan Allen and a Mike Williams. They don't compare to a DeAndre Hopkins, which is what Kyler Murray has. They don't compare to a Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, AB, Rob Gronkowski, all those guys that Tom Brady has. It just doesn't. Lamar's doing more with less. That's rule number 1. Step 1. All right. Step 2. Reason number 2. He is killing narratives in real time. He's killing narratives in real time. What does that mean? So he's tied for the most comebacks in the league this season so far. He's tied with Justin Herbert, ironically enough. Justin Herbert, he's very much so in this race as well. I did a lot of research on both these guys, on all these guys. But Justin Herbert's close. But Lamar Jackson does have the same amount of comeback wins that Justin Herbert does so far this season. Now, he's top 5 in passing yards as well as Lamar Jackson, and he's second in yards per attempt. Let's talk about top 5 in passing yards. Actually, no, let's back up for a second, even before. Like I said, he's killing narratives in real time. Everybody said he couldn't come from behind. And in the past couple of games, that's exactly what he's done. He's proven that to you. Also, passing yards. The biggest thing that people said last year is, oh, he doesn't have any passing yards. He only had 3,100 in his highest season, things like that. Lamar Jackson is top 5 in passing yards after week 5 in the NFL season. That's a pretty solid sample size. I don't care what anybody says. 5 games is a pretty solid sample size to kind of know and gauge, like, okay, who's really getting it done and who's not. And right now, Lamar Jackson is getting it done on a higher level, passing yards wise, than Patrick Mahomes. Just saying, those are the facts. So yeah, like I said, he's killing narratives in real time. That's reason number 2. Reason number 3 for me is teams are literally under the influence of Lamar Jackson because of all the things that Lamar makes a defense have to do and worry about. Linebackers are frozen in time, worried about Lamar Jackson running right by them. DBs cannot just play man coverage and just chase their guy all around the field. They can't. They have to keep at least one eye in the backfield. They got to be split eyes. One eye on their guy and the other eye on Lamar Jackson at all times. So teams are literally under the influence of Lamar Jackson, and I just don't know if a Justin Herbert or a Josh Allen or a Tom Brady. I don't know if teams are literally under the influence or literally changing their entire game plan in order to work around defending Lamar Jackson. They're just not doing that. Maybe Kyler Murray a little bit. Maybe Kyler Murray, but these other guys, no, I mean, I don't see that. I don't see that. So teams are literally under the influence of Lamar. You have to adapt your entire defensive scheme to fit what this man is able to do on the football field. And if that doesn't say valuable or most valuable, I just don't know what does. I just don't know what does. That's reason number 3. Reason number 4, Lamar Jackson, he visibly, and when I say visibly, you know how people say, okay, does it pass the eye test? Lamar Jackson passes the eye test on being able to will his team to victory. Last time I checked, this league was all about wins and losses. We can throw all the other stats out the window, like I was just talking about yards per completion and passing yards, all this other stuff. You throw all that out the window. If you're not winning football games, none of it matters. Lamar Jackson wins football games, and sometimes he visibly wills his team to a victory. Take the Monday night game last night that we watched, for example. The defense was doing nothing. The defense was getting gashed all game. It was terrible. It was very frustrating to watch as a Ravens fan, especially knowing that the Ravens come from defense. You know, to see that defense get walked all over, and then Lamar Jackson just decide, hey, you know what, we're not losing this football game, and then lead 3 back-to-back full length of the field drives, pretty much, like back-to-back drives, just touchdown, and we win the ball game. Visibly willing your team when the defense cannot help themselves. The offense is like, okay, Lamar Jackson said, okay, let's stay on the field. Let me throw the ball all over the yard. Let me make sure that we're running the clock. By the end of the game, we won time of possession by about 3 or 4 minutes. Had Lamar Jackson not taken over that game and visibly willed our team to a W, we would have gotten destroyed in time of possession because we were getting destroyed in time of possession earlier in the game. But Lamar Jackson, like I said again, he just methodically, decisively just marched down the field without any hesitation, man. He visibly willed, he passed the eye test. He willed this team to victory. He did it. He did that. That's reason number 4. That's what a most valuable player does for his team. When his team is struggling in any other aspect, he can put the team on his back. He can put the team on his shoulders and carry them to a win. That's what I mean by that. That's reason number 4. Reason number 5, and probably the most ridiculous reason, and this is a stat that I'm going to share with you guys. Lamar Jackson, he is the Ravens offense. He is the Ravens offense. He can get it done through the air. He can get it done on the ground. He can do it all. He can do it all. Now, Lamar Jackson, here's the stat I want to share with you guys. As of right now, going into week 6, he has more total yards than 18 NFL teams. That's more than half of the teams in the league. He has more total yards than over half of the teams in the league do. Let's take a look at those teams. So Lamar Jackson has 1,860 total yards in 2021 as it stands today, October 12, 2021. That's more yards than the Falcons have in totality, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Lions, the Colts, the Bears, the Texans, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Washington football team, the San Francisco 49ers, the Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers, New Orleans Saints, and Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, granted, a lot of those teams aren't the best. I get that. There's only a couple teams in there that, you know, probably will make the playoffs, that sort of thing. But this is saying, like, it's just a crazy stat because you're saying that one player, has more total yards than this team does and all their players put together. So the quarterbacks and the running backs and the wide receivers, all their yards put together, the total yards of offense still comes up less than Lamar Jackson. And that's amazing. That's amazing, man. If that doesn't say most valuable player, I just don't know what does. There's no other player who's as important to his team than Lamar Jackson is. There's no other player. You got to think about it this way. If Lamar Jackson, take Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Kyler Murray, people would say those are probably the top 3 candidates for MVP right now. And we'll throw Tom Brady in there too for good measure. If for whatever reason, those guys get hurt, so say Tom Brady gets hurt, he's replaced with somebody else. As long as it's a serviceable backup, I mean, he's got all the weapons in the world, right? He's got a Chris Godwin and AB and you know, all those guys, Mike Evans, all those guys in Tampa Bay. You make it work. Justin Herbert, same thing. I mean, I'm not saying you can just literally replace him with somebody else, but he's a lot more replaceable than Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray probably comes the closest to me because Kyler Murray is more similar to Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson is just that much more electric to me. He is, and just in big games, the way he's able to will his team to victory. That's why I put him over Kyler Murray. But yeah, man, like I said, there's nobody who's more valuable because you take all those guys off those respective teams, you can put in somebody in substitution that's at least serviceable and they'll get the job done. With Lamar Jackson, you take Lamar off the Ravens offense, it's not going to look pretty. I'm telling you that as a Ravens fan who's been a Ravens fan for decades now, it's not going to look pretty. It's not going to be pretty. That offense is fully reliant upon Lamar Jackson. We're talking about the most valuable player to his team. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. But those are my 5 reasons why I think Lamar Jackson is currently the front runner for the NFL MVP for the 2021 season. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? Why or why not? Let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure you like this video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy the content today. Purple Rain Podcast. If you're watching this before we go live on Thursday night, October the 12th, we will be live at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our normal live times are Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., except for when the Ravens are playing on primetime football that night, either Monday or Thursday night. So, yeah, this has been your boy Sutton Def for another video. I appreciate you guys for coming through and watching. Make sure you like the video before you get out of here. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.